There are brutal truths in this world, and if you dare to confront them, you become a force no manipulator can touch. We grew up on comforting tales. The world is fair, people are kind, hard work always triumphs. It's a nice story, but life whispers a different reality. The game isn't always fair. Not everyone plays by the rules, and effort without clear-eyed vision just exhausts you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Master your mind, master your day. When you achieve this, you rise above 90% of the crowd. Today, we delve into 8 ruthless lessons designed to make you dangerously intelligent, able to see through facades, impervious to manipulation, and decisive under pressure. And pay close attention, because Lesson 6 will fundamentally alter how you view every relationship in your life. What is this dangerous intelligence? Ordinary intelligence helps you solve existing problems. Dangerous intelligence allows you to foresee them before they crash into your life. It's not about manipulating others. It's the fierce self-discipline of dismantling your own illusions. The Stoics called it training the mind for clarity, for right thinking, for just action, even amidst chaos. Are you ready? Let's begin. Lesson 1. Emotions drive, logic rides shotgun. Most decisions aren't born from pure logic. They're ignited by emotion, then retroactively justified with logic. The reasons we give are often little more than a press release, drafted after the deal is already sealed. I once worked with a student who swore he bought an expensive gym membership for the science, the trainers, the cutting-edge program. It sounded rational, but dig deeper, and the truth emerged. He was newly divorced. What he truly sought wasn't a workout plan. It was a place to feel seen, connected, less alone. The spreadsheets and schedules were merely camouflage. You'll observe this everywhere. Online debates rarely hinge on facts. They revolve around ego, identity, people clinging fiercely to their self-perception. In the office, colleagues might resist a new process not because it's inefficient, but because, deep down, they're asking, will this make me irrelevant? The Stoics warned, people are rarely fighting about the superficial issue. They are fighting for their pride, their position, their fundamental need for security. So here's the practice: when you feel that internal rush, pause. Ask yourself, what am I truly feeling? Anger? Fear? A craving for recognition? Then ask the harder question, what impulsive decision will I regret tomorrow? And when others react emotionally, don't attack their logic. Address the underlying emotion first. Say, I understand why this is important to you. Acknowledge their fear before inviting them into reason. That is dangerous intelligence. The ability to discern the emotion beneath the surface in yourself and others. The power to extinguish the fire before it consumes the room. Lesson 2. Everyone acts in their own interest. This isn't cynicism, it's reality. And once you grasp it, your disappointment in people often dissolves. We wish to believe in pure altruism. We prefer to think our neighbor bakes cookies solely out of generosity, or that a colleague volunteers for extra work simply because they care about the team. But beneath the surface, self-interest is always present. Sometimes it's noble, sometimes selfish, but it's always there. I recall a woman in my community who appeared endlessly generous. She organized events, remembered names, always smiled. People lauded her selflessness. But later, I discovered she was campaigning for city council. Every kind gesture was also a strategic move. The warmth was genuine, but so was the ambition. And here's the crucial shift. Once I understood her motives, I stopped feeling deceived. I respected her more, recognizing her intelligence in aligning her personal goals with service to others. That's the Stoic lesson. Self-interest isn't inherently evil. It's human nature. Marcus Aurelius himself conceded that his service to Rome also served his own profound sense of duty and honor. Seneca warned us, expecting people to act against their interests is like fighting gravity, pointless. So what do? We stop asking, why are they so selfish? Instead, we ask, what do they really want here? And then we align. We find the common ground. We build agreements where both sides benefit instead of demanding unsustainable sacrifices. This is dangerous intelligence. Seeing the hidden currents of motivation. Understanding that every request, every smile, every offer carries an underlying purpose. And when you see it clearly, you can work with reality, not against it. Lesson 3. Most people can't handle the truth about themselves. This one cuts deep because the most brutal mirror isn't the one we hold up to others. It's the one we hold up to ourselves. Most people actively avoid that mirror. They construct narratives, excuses, elaborate defenses, anything to shield the fragile self-image they've meticulously built. And that's why they remain trapped in the same mistakes, the same destructive cycles year after year. I had a friend who constantly complained about being overlooked at work. Every time he blamed office politics, unfair managers, or bad luck. But when I gently pointed out his habitual lateness, his missed deadlines, his frequent clashes with the team, he retorted, "You don't understand the situation." His mind wasn't seeking truth. It was seeking protection. The Stoics termed this self-deception a form of slavery. Because if you can't recognize your own role in a problem, you forfeit the power to change it. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about this, constantly scrutinizing his motives, confronting his flaws, disciplining his ego. Why? Because truth, however painful, is the only solid ground upon which to build. So here's the test. Ask yourself, what truth am I actively avoiding? What feedback do I dismiss too quickly? Where am I deceiving myself because the reality is uncomfortable? These are brutal questions, but they are the keys to your liberation. Most people surround themselves with yes men, with echoes of their own illusions, but the dangerously intelligent mind seeks the opposite. It seeks the penetrating voice that says, "You are wrong here, fix it." That is true strength. Because when you can face your own flaws without flinching, you become unassailable. While others remain trapped in their comforting lies, you are already evolving. Lesson 4, your success will make some people hate you. Strange, isn't it? You work hard, you ascend, you finally achieve a victory, and instead of applause, you feel the sting of resentment. Why? Because your success acts as a mirror. It reflects back to others what they could be but chose not to become. And not everyone can endure that reflection. I witnessed this with a college friend who built a thriving business from nothing. When he struggled, everyone offered kindness, support, and encouragement. But the moment his company was featured in a prominent magazine, the tone shifted. Jokes about how money had gone to his head surfaced. Rumors about his luck began to circulate. People who once celebrated him started sharpening knives behind his back. Here's the truth. He hadn't changed. What changed was how his success exposed the excuses of others. Instead of being inspired, they felt threatened, and envy disguised itself as criticism. Marcus Aurelius understood this intimately. Even as emperor, he navigated a world of gossip, betrayal, and envy. His reminder was simple. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. In other words, their poison is their burden, not yours. So when envy arises, do not shrink to appease others. Do not dim your light merely because it hurts their eyes. Stand firm. Keep building. Let your work speak louder than their bitterness. This is dangerous intelligence. Anticipating resistance as an inevitable price of growth. Understanding that success will test not just your skills, but your relationships. And when the whispers begin, you'll recognize them for what they truly are. Not a reflection of you, but a revelation of them. Lesson 5. Everyone is selling you something. Once you truly internalize this, you'll never perceive interactions the same way again. Every single interaction is an attempt to influence, Every smile, every story, every gesture. It's a bid to get you to do, think, or feel something. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes incredibly subtle, but it is always present. I once met an old acquaintance for coffee. Initially, it felt genuinely warm and nostalgic. Two friends catching up. She inquired about my work, my family, even remembered details from years past. I thought, this is a true connection. Then, halfway through, came the reveal. She had joined a multi-level marketing opportunity. Suddenly, all the friendliness transformed into a sales pitch. The friendship was merely the packaging. The real product was my wallet. And no, she wasn't inherently malicious. She honestly believed she was helping. But that's the crucial point. Influence wears many masks. Sometimes kindness, sometimes urgency, sometimes guilt. Marcus Aurelius understood this intimately. Surrounded by generals, advisors, and politicians, each pushing their own agenda, he trained himself to see through the pitch, to hear not just the words, but the motive beneath the words. That is your shield. Don't assume everyone is manipulative. Assume everyone has an interest. And once you begin to ask, what do they really want here? You stop being a passive consumer in the marketplace of influence. You become a conscious chooser. Your coworker's compliment might be genuine, but it could also be leverage for support at the next meeting. Your neighbor's cookies might be kindness, but also an investment in a future favor. It's not paranoia, it's clarity. This is dangerous intelligence, refusing to be lulled by surface appearances, choosing with awareness, deciding on your terms, not theirs. When you see the hidden sales pitch behind every interaction, you stop being sold and start living by choice. Lesson 6. When people show you who they are, believe them. This lesson will save you years of wasted trust and heartache. People reveal their true selves constantly, in the small details, in how they treat service staff, in whether they keep minor promises, in the jokes they tell when they think no important person is listening. The signs are always there. What's often missing is our willingness to truly see them. I once collaborated with a business partner who habitually exaggerated his role in meetings. At first, I dismissed it. Then came the padded expense reports, small things, insignificant amounts. Again, I made excuses. He's just enthusiastic. Everyone fudges receipts a little. But years later, when I discovered he'd been secretly negotiating behind my back to cut me out of the company, I realized the truth had been on blatant display the entire time. I just didn't want to believe it. Maya Angelou famously said, "When people show you who they are, believe them the first time." The Stoics lived by this principle. Marcus Aurelius judged individuals not by eloquent speeches or isolated acts, but by consistent patterns of behavior. Seneca warned us, hoping someone will fundamentally change their core nature is a losing bet. So here's the ironclad rule. Trust patterns, not promises. Trust actions, not words. Trust consistency, not elaborate explanations. If someone habitually gossips about others, they will eventually gossip about you. If they consistently break small commitments, they will eventually break larger ones. If they show disrespect when it costs them nothing, they will likely show betrayal when the stakes are high. This is dangerous intelligence. Refusing to rewrite the narrative in your head to protect your feelings. It's about accepting people based on the evidence of their behavior. And when that evidence is clear, you adjust your boundaries, not their excuses. See the pattern, believe it, and move accordingly. Lesson 7. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort feels safe, feels warm. It whispers, "Stay here. You've earned it. You've made it." But in truth, comfort is a cage. It's a soft prison that insidiously robs you of strength and vitality long before you even realize what's happening. I once knew a brilliant software engineer. Excellent pay, flexible hours, work that came effortlessly. For 3 years, he seemed to be living the dream. But slowly his edge dulled. New technologies began to overwhelm him. Conversations that once ignited his passion now felt heavy and tedious. He hadn't failed. He had atrophied not from hardship, but from ease. Then came the layoff, and suddenly, the security he had trusted vanished. The comfort that once felt like a blessing revealed itself as a cunning trap. The Stoics understood this profound danger. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, could have drowned in unimaginable luxury, yet he deliberately chose demanding military campaigns, intellectual challenges, and the relentless grind of leadership. Seneca actively practiced voluntary discomfort, sleeping on hard floors, eating simple meals, because he knew that if you only ever embrace ease, you will inevitably collapse when genuine hardship arrives. So, how do we fight back against the allure of comfort? We intentionally choose difficulty. Speak up when silence feels safer. Learn that intimidating new skill. Train your body when the couch is calling your name. Every single time you push into discomfort, you sharpen your blade. Here's the paradox. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will, because failure, at the very least, teaches you something. Comfort teaches you nothing, except how to remain exactly the same. Dangerous intelligence means recognizing this trap early. It means constantly asking, where am I choosing safety over genuine growth? What am I actively avoiding because it feels hard? And then you step directly towards it. Because while most people are lulled to sleep by comfort, you will be awake, alive, and perpetually rising. Lesson 8. You're going to die, and most of your worries mean nothing. This is the final lesson, the most ruthless, and paradoxically the most liberating. Death is not a distant possibility. It is the only certainty. And when you truly internalize this truth, most of the petty noise that drains your energy simply vanishes. I witnessed this truth unfold in a man I deeply admired. Before his terminal diagnosis, he was consumed by office politics, neighborhood gossip, whether his lawn looked perfect compared to his neighbors. He fought countless battles that ultimately meant absolutely nothing. But once cancer forced him to confront the ticking clock of his own mortality, everything shifted. He stopped caring about external approval. He ended hollow relationships. He devoted his precious remaining time only to what brought him genuine joy, profound love, and deep meaning. Ironically, he became freer, happier, and more vibrantly alive, even as his days grew tragically short. The Stoics called this memento mori, remember death, not to be morbid, but to achieve intense focus and clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." Seneca warned that wasting time is the one crime that can never be repaid. So ask yourself, if I had only 1 year left to live, would this truly matter? Would I still waste precious hours arguing online? Would I still chase the fleeting approval of strangers? Or would I finally speak the heartfelt words I've been holding back? Would I finally build the things I've been postponing? Would I finally live? Not tomorrow, but now? This is dangerous intelligence. Rigorously cutting away the trivial, investing your finite energy only in what will genuinely matter at the very end. While others drown in meaningless anxiety, you walk clear-eyed, unburdened, and profoundly alive. Because the truth is brutal, you will die. But within that undeniable truth lies your ultimate freedom. When nothing is guaranteed, everything truly important becomes urgent. And that profound urgency is the catalyst for a life fully, fiercely lived. 8 ruthless lessons, each one a sharp blade that cuts away illusion. If you've stayed with me this far, you already possess more clarity than most. Now, the critical question remains. Will you practice it? Will you consistently choose truth over comforting illusions? Discipline over fleeting distraction? Growth over stagnation? If this journey speaks to your spirit, please share it, give it a like, and subscribe to Living Stoic so these essential reminders find you exactly when you need them most. And in the comments below, leave just 3 powerful words. I choose clarity. Let that be your public vow. a declaration that from today forward, you will pierce through the fog and live wide awake. Thanks for watching. See you in the next dimension.